Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
What up, guys? Your girl Talk About It's Takina, and I am always ready to talk about it. The views and statements that I make on my channel are personal and from my perspective only. Don't take it seriously. Don't get your feelings hurt. It's okay. We're all in this together. I got you. Now let's get into this video. What up, guys? Your girl Talk About Takina. I am Takina, and I am here to talk about it. Yeah, so I'm sure you guys have been wondering where I've been and why I haven't been uploading. And then I was going to do this big I'm back thing in July, and that didn't last. And so I'm here to really just talk about where I've been, what happened, and what things look like moving forward. So, first of all, I would say I apologize for my long intro, but I don't, because I really like my intro. I know it's like 30 seconds way too long, but it's super cute. And I've tried to like make it less than 30 seconds. But because I'm so cute, I just can't cut out anything because it's all cute. So just work with me on the fact that my intro is like a minute long. It's fine. So where have I been? And what happened? And why haven't I been uploading? And why have I like dropped little nuggets but just not been consistent? Well, there's a lot to that. I fault myself. Lack of communication, lack of understanding, lack of a lot, lack of self-awareness. I'm the type of person, I'm a Taurus. Not all Tauruses may be this way, but I like consistency. I like things pre-planned out. I like to know what things look like moving forward, if it's a week, if it's a day, what's going on, right? So back in the day, I had all of my videos planned out. I'd be in my office recording. I had set designated space for recording. There's just no issues, right? I wanted to put out videos that was about me, but the whole Talk About Takina, I like to talk, so it's just a given that my videos are going to be long and I'm going to have a subject to talk about. But that kind of fell wayside when it got to be, I have to work. So I'm working an 8-hour day shift. I then leave that job and I go to my night job, which was PCA. So I had to take care of my client. So it was hard to do recordings then. And then there's days that I would be working, I'd have my client, I'd go out after and do Lyft and Uber at the time. Then I got kind of worn out with doing that. And so I started doing Uber Eats with Lyft. And that was okay, but anyone who's done Uber Eats or DoorDash, because eventually I went into DoorDash, it's harder to do it by yourself because you're going to locations that require you to have to park somewhere, or someone else has to drive you so that the time goes faster. Me being a female, safety issues. So there was a lot going on that just kind of trickled down to like, this is not what's up. So I try to stay consistent with my recording, but just because life kind of got in the way, I record it when I can and it kind of fizzled out. Eventually I had to move, so I wound up staying with my friend for I want to say a year. I can't quite remember because things kind of got hazy after a while. Dealing with the whole George Floyd thing, um that was my kind of trigger to it's time for me to leave. My kids were older. Um, and that was a whole nother situation because my kids uh wanted their freedom, wanted to spread their wings and fly. And so I had different situations with my kid when my daughter got to an age where she felt like she was grown and could be on her own. She wound up leaving, making a whole scene and leaving and going to stay with her dad. That was a whole situation of trying to co-parent, but there was underlying issues. It wasn't us on the same page. It never was us on the same page. I never kept my kid's dad out of my kid's life, but it was just a lot going on. Uh, I never put him on child support because I worked my ass off to take care of my kids. So I didn't put him on child support. Just spend time with your kids, come get your kids, be there for your kids. And so I allowed him to do that. And that always wasn't the best. Um, so there was that. So my daughter wound up leaving, and from that point, she kind of went off on her own and did her own thing. She wanted to be grown and live her own life. And she did that. She's doing that. So then my son followed suit. Um, and that didn't work so well for him. I'm now in Arizona. He eventually came to Arizona because things with his dad did not work out. Um, it's hard to be an absent parent and then try and be a full-time parent overnight. It just doesn't work that well. So there was dealing with that, and I love my kids. They literally tried to have me arrested and put in jail for child abuse, and they were like hell 18 and 15 going on 16 or something like that. So the whole child abuse thing was kind of a joke. And even when I had to go in for my interview and whatever else, the lady quickly realized that it was just kind of them wanting to do what they want and the father trying to get the outcome that best suited him. And because my kids were of age, they can make their own decisions. So I tossed up my hands and I was like, fine, y'all want to do this? I'm not stressing myself out. I'm out. Um, I tried to keep communication with my kids as much as they allowed me to, but at that point, y'all are older. Y'all think that y'all could do it better than what I'm trying to provide for y'all. So go ahead. So that was a big stressor for me. It literally, when my daughter did it, was like literally I ran into a brick wall, like crashed into a brick wall, because of the situation. Like I gave my kids my all. I provided them with everything. I made sure they lived in a safe area. I made sure they went to the best schools. I made sure they had the opportunities that I did not have growing up. I did the very best I could by myself and with my husband. We had a blended family, so that was a whole issue in itself, because of the fact that my children's father was an absent parent and my husband was not an absent parent for his kids, but his ex-wife made it very difficult for him to be consistent in his kid's life. So, you know, there's on his end, there was the her taking the kids and disappearing. There was her not allowing him to get the kids when he showed up. There there was a lot of nonsense on her end that just really tied his hands when it came to having a decent relationship with his kids. But because he was a good father, it didn't affect him and his kids as much as it could have. Um, so there was that. So my kids saw that here's a man that wants to be in his kids' lives and doing everything. My kids didn't have that. His kids wanted to be there more than they were because my kids were there with him. So you have that whole blended family situation that was just difficult. Um, trying to make all the kids happy on both ends. So that was there's a whole time frame there, us recording even from my channel and our channel that we had at the time, which wasn't perfectly perfect. It was we didn't record consistently because there was just so much going on, and it was hard to record through those situations because it was extremely emotional. So there was a lot of inconsistency there. Um, then once I went to stay with my friend, I really was focused on bettering myself, learning to love myself and figure out who I was. So a lot of my videos at that time that I did try and put out, or eventually even with moving to Arizona, was a lot of self-love and self-reflect, self-understanding, self-awareness, self-accountability. Still inconsistent. If you follow me on Instagram at Talkaboutitakinah, you would see that it was easier to post um than it was to record. So you'll see a lot of posts on Instagram, but just not the recordings that went with it. But in that time frame, I was really studying how to learn to love myself and just outside of everything else that was going on, focus on me. And so I did that, and that was part of the decision of me moving to Arizona was, hey, your kids and basically gave you the middle finger and you've given them all that you can. You've been there for them. You've given them everything they ever asked for. They gave you the middle finger. This George Floyd was going on in Minnesota, which was where I was living at the time. And so because of all of the anxiety that came with the riots and trying to work, and even the vehicle that I had at the time was looked like an undercover police car. So on one side I looked like a police car. On the other side, um, it I was it was just bad. And so I was traumatized with driving to work at night because I worked overnights. It got to the point where it got really bad that my boss, um, love her to death. My boss said, there's a room, it's all yours, stay here. Um, and at the time, the sheriffs were staying at our hotel. Our hotel was closed down to the public. Sheriffs were there. So I was doing my audits and I had the police in the hotel with me. So I was kind of getting insight on what was going on in the streets as much as they could tell me anyways. But our hotel was under full surveillance inside and out because of the threats that the police were getting. There were snipers at my hotel. Which was crazy in itself in its own. But it was time for me to go. I was dealing with a lot. I love my kids to death, but I'm like, okay, y'all want to be grown. Y'all think y'all grown. Y'all be want to be with your dad. I already knew the outcome of what was going to happen because the one thing he was consistent with was not being in their life. He didn't know them. He knew nothing about them. He was a he wasn't even a birthday dad. You know, the dads that pop in for the birthday. He wasn't even that because hell, half the time he missed their birthdays, especially my son. Or he would call my son to go to his sister's birthday, which was 2 days before his birthday, not my daughter, but another child that he had. And my son's like, okay, but what about me? Or the fact that I intentionally would have birthday parties near his house just so that he would show up, and he still didn't show up. So there was those issues. Um, so I was just like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. I'm gone. I had a lot of issues that I was dealing with within my marriage, communication issues, um, just a lot that I was dealing with as far as like feeling like I was important in his life, or that I was number one, to be even seen, to be thanked for the fact that I was going hard for the family, where I felt like he wasn't. He was settling for the bare minimum. And I'm like, we're struggling, and I just felt like he had checked out. Um, and so it was a lot for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm staying with my friend. My husband was staying with his brother. And I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm gone. I'm done. I'm over everything and everybody. I've had nothing but things thrown at me. I've been attacked. Um, by my character, being a mom, being a friend, being a wife. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. I literally was filing for divorce, and I moved to Arizona. I moved to Arizona. I was going back and forth because I was still working at the hotel. After kind of the riots with the George Floyd had subsided, I was still there helping out, trying to bring life back to the hotel as we were getting reservations and people were coming in. Um, and then eventually I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm Minnesota's home. And so, or not Minnesota, Arizona. And so I was fully in Arizona. I had filed for divorce. My divorce was final um that September. And then um I was kind of like, okay, I'm doing my thing. Uh my husband came back. We still had communication issues really bad, so he wound up leaving about a year later. Um that was a up and downhill battle. So again, trying to record through those situations was just difficult because I was trying to find me and who I was. I felt like I gave my all and my everything to my family, and I was always on the back burner, always. What I needed and what I wanted was on the back burner. Um, and even times when I was still in Minnesota, and I was just like, I need a break. I need a day off. I need time with my friends. I would go out with my friends, and that was still an issue. At home with the kids or with my husband. It wasn't like I was going out on a regular consistently, but I felt like I'm working basically three jobs, so I deserve to have time to myself or time with my friends. Um, there's a lot of issues in that with communication and trust um, on both ends. My husband didn't trust me, um, and I wasn't doing anything for the trust not to be there. My husband didn't trust me, and I didn't trust him because of things that was going on his end with work and coworkers. So there was a lot that we were dealing with that. I feel like I got horns. So there was a lot we were dealing with that. Um, so um, so there's all of those issues. So we wound up separating. He went back to Minnesota, and we were pretty much done at that point. And I was like, you know what? I'm about to live my best life. I'm about to do whatever the hell I want. And so I started dating. I was on Facebook dating, which was a whole nightmare, whole nightmare. And I think I started another YouTube channel. I'm not gonna say what channel that was, but I started another YouTube channel where I started talking about uh the Facebook dating experience. Um I would never ever again try and meet someone on any dating app. Not for me. People are weird. People are confused about what they really want, even when you make it very specific of what you don't want. It just is not the best. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was a nightmare. I dealt with narcissists, and if you watch my video, my last couple of videos, you'll kind of see where my mindset was with there was self-love and dealing with narcissists. How do you know your mother's a narcissist? Just different things that I was encountering, either personally or indirectly. Um, and it was a lot. And then the big moment that kind of just sank my ship was my dad passing. My dad passed December 28th of 2021. And I was extremely close with my dad. And I was on the phone when he took his last breath. And my brother had just uh flew there from Arizona. He had flew to go and live with my dad 3 days prior. No, Christmas was so at 4 days prior. I want to say he got there the day before Christmas. My dad was very excited to have my brother there. Um, so my brother was there with him and saw him die. And my brother had called me right before and said, Dad's having a hard time breathing. And I was like, put him on the phone. Let me talk him through it. And he was trying to talk to me, and he was just really groggy. And then he just went silent. And when he went silent, my brother got back on the phone and said that he had passed out. And I just knew, I felt it, that my dad was gone. Um, and that was really hard for me because I felt like he was trying to say something, and that was it. So at the time I was driving, and I was doing DoorDash at the time. And I'm big on um uh things that I don't know how to I don't know how to say it, but the house that I was delivering to when he passed, the address of that house was his birthday. So he was born August 28th, 1961, and that address was like 6128 something. Like I can't remember that. It was something like that. But it was literally his full birthday. And so when my brother called me, I was on my way to that house to deliver their food. And luckily for me, for the whole situation, because I was going to cancel it, I couldn't, I knew something was wrong, but I went and delivered their food. And when I got there, I saw his birthday, and it messed me up. I told my brother to call 911. I knew something was wrong. I made it back. I called my sister. I called my friend. I knew something was wrong. And by the time I made it to the house, he still wasn't breathing. I knew that he was gone because I kept saying it's too long of him not breathing. He needs to get oxygen. And I called my family members, I called everyone. I called my sister, called my daughter. Ambulance got there, kicked everybody out the house so they could do whatever. And I was on the phone with my sister when they pronounced him dead, that he had passed away. And it was a really hard time for me. I love my dad to death. He was an amazing dad. He was an amazing father. He would do anything for his kids. And still feel like it's not fair that he's not here. Um, so that kind of set me on this downhill, I don't know what you want to call it. Um, it was bad, just in general. For me, it was hard. I talked to my dad almost every day. Before I even uh moved here to Arizona, he wanted me to move in with him, and I was like, I love you, Dad. I'll come and visit you. I'm here if you need me, but I need to get away from Minnesota. Um, my dad, everything that he had, everything he owned was in my name. Um, anything. He got his first apartment and he was proud to have his own place, a place that he can call his own. Um, but he relied on me to make sure that his life of being on his own was good. So paying his rent and paying his electricity because it was online, it was technical and he was not technical at all. He didn't mess with the internet. He just spited it. So, you know, um but that was losing him was hard for me in general. And then um after he passed, I flew to Minnesota, um and that's when the nightmare began because his family, even my older siblings, was gung ho that there was insurance money, that he just was living in this expensive, lavish apartment building. And, you know, it was a nightmare. My dad was married, but he was estranged. He was separated from his wife. He wanted to file for divorce from her. I was helping him with the paperwork, but because the time of him passing, he was still married to her. That was a whole nother situation. Um, she, it was just a nightmare. And when I say a nightmare, no one should have ever went through what I went through when my dad passed. His family legit swore there was money, swore I was lying. Aunts and uncles that were so godly, holy, and sanctified were literally cussing me out, calling me a liar. Um, they just swore up and down there was money. So much so that with them, with my cousin and his estranged wife, we had a funeral planned, we had everything put together, and his wife came in because she had the rights to basically have say so, flew his body to Ohio for whatever reason. I don't know. I've heard things um that were going on with her and a certain family member of mine, um, where people really thought there was money involved. So basically, people were sleeping with the enemy, so to speak, in hopes that there was going to be an insurance check that they could get their hands on. Um, if there ever was, um, they wouldn't have gotten it because my dad made it very clear that I would be in charge of his final wishes, his insurance money, whatever. We literally had talked about it a month before he passed. We were supposed to get it into place, and he was like, "No, we'll get to it. We'll get to it." And he passed before we could get to it. Um, and because of how things played out to this day, I have said I'm glad there was no insurance money because of the people that had their hands out wanting it did not deserve it at all. Not a single red cent. And I stand on that. They didn't deserve anything. So it was literally about a month of hell. Um, my dad's body was flown to Ohio where he was born at. I was threatened by my two older siblings. I have three older siblings, but two of them were threatening that if we showed up in Ohio, they would shoot us. They were coming for us. They would attack us. They were threatening to come to Minnesota and deal with us and take care of us and off us. One of my brothers, I'm in the military. I was trained to be a shooter. Just horrendous threats from so-called family and siblings. Um, my older brother, so myself and two of my brothers were all between the three of us were 9 months apart. Um, we all have different moms, obviously, because that would be weird if we were all had the same parents, but we all had the same dad and different moms. And so it was a situation of my the oldest brother of us three coming to Minnesota, supporting me, being there, seeing and trying to relate to the family back in Ohio is not what y'all think. It is not that. And they just weren't hearing it. And I'm so thankful, forever grateful for my brother coming and being there and supporting me and kind of being that wall between me and the family, which in the long run affected him too, because it was a lot. He literally tried to be um the basically punching bag between my family and myself. He took a lot of blows for me because he's like, y'all are so wrong for what you're doing, for what you're saying. Um, and it affected him just as much as it affected me. So having gone through all that, and just not being able to say goodbye to my dad, is where I have the trigger of when people say sorry for your loss. It's like I never got to say goodbye. Um, my family had had him cremated. There was no funeral, no one showed up. One of my family members worked at a church slash funeral home or whatever the hell, and um had him cremated for free. And to this day, last time we spoke of trying to get his ashes or some of his ashes, we were told bring them $1,500 and they would give us the ashes. But because of how that family is, we don't know if we're getting sand or ashes. So it wasn't worth it to this. It's just not worth trying to get his ashes. We're talking about very people who are ruthless and don't care. So it's we just kind of had to say goodbye to our dad, um, all on our own. all my siblings, we kind of dealt with in our own way. At the time, my brother was incarcerated. He got out for my dad's funeral. That never happened. And when he realized it didn't happen and he realized it just got to be too much for him, he literally turned himself back into the jail he was at. Um, a lot of us, honestly speaking, really kind of checked out on in our own ways. We checked out because it was a lot. Our dad was amazing dad. Like I did TikToks for my dad and was like, he understood the assignment. If you are on TikTok and whatever, you understand what I'm saying. Like he legit understood the assignment of being a dad. And yeah, so I dealt with that and still on the fence of trying to deal with it. I've gotten to a really good place. And I'm thankful for my husband for that. Because he put me in a spiritual class that really helped me understand people, understand souls, kind of come to grips and be in a comfort zone, so to speak, with my dad not being here physically and knowing that his soul is still alive. I've had dreams, and my dad was there. I'm trying right now, I'm in a process of trying to learn how to communicate with my dad in my dreams. A lot of times, my dreams, I'm trying to communicate like, hey dad, what were you trying to say to me? And hey dad, I miss you and things like that. But it's really in the dream, it's almost like at the last part of the dream, I realize that hey, my dad's in the dream, but then I wake up. So um those dreams are real. And eventually I will be getting into dreams. I will be getting into spirituality. I will be getting into a lot of the things that people don't question. And a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people just go through life and don't question anything. Um, and I'm the type of person I like to dig into things. I want to know how things work. I want to know why. And so that's where a lot of my channel is going to come in of me just really trying to um teach and get an understanding, help people through what I went through. It really starts with you, with self. Um, so my videos will be mainly focused on astrology, self-love, relationships, and in breaking in down into each of those will be self-worth, self-love, self-understanding, self-aware, self um accountability, which is huge. um so I will help you guys understand who you are and understand those people around you, understand situations you're in, relationships, communication, a lot. I want to be consistent, but I'd be lying to you and myself if I said that I'm going to be consistent because I'm still a work in progress. Because having that major blow of heartbreak and feeling like my breath was taken away when my dad passed away, um, really just threw me off of everything. It changed my whole perspective, my whole reality. It changed everything in my life. So now I'm at the point, even in the recent months, and I'll get to it. Um, I've had people in my life that I felt like um had their own ulterior motive, had selfish motives. I've had people that wanted to treat me bad or feel like I did them wrong. And that just wasn't the case. But in their world, their truth, that's how it was. And I've accepted that. I've allowed them to I've accepted their reality in a sense of, okay, that's how you feel. Because you feel that way, I'm taking 10 steps back. Regardless of the relationship, I don't care who it is, however you feel, I have to put me first And if I feel strongly about a situation and I feel like the situation is hurting me more than it's helping me, I'm out. And you have to get to a place where you see that and you're like, you know what? I mean more to me than I mean to you. So I have to go. Um, so I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. It could be my husband at this point. If the situation's not good, I'm out. And that's why pretty much I left Minnesota the way that I left Minnesota. It was all garbage for me. I don't want to deal with it. I'm out. I miss my friends, I miss my family, but I have to put me first, so I'm out. So I will be getting into those deep conversations, those deep situations, and helping you guys get through what you're going through because I've discovered I am not the only one that have lost a parent. I'm not the only one that has fallen out with your child. I am not the only one that has fallen out with a friend or dealt with someone of narcissism. And I've dealt with more than enough people when it comes to narcissists than I would care to deal with ever, ever. So I'm going to break it down from experience, but also giving you guys those tips and how to deal with it, how to acknowledge it, how to see it and be like, look, this isn't for me. I'm out. I see how you're treating me. I'm done. So that's why I haven't been consistent. My dad was a big part of it, life was a big part of it. But making videos and helping people has always been the main point of this particular channel and all my other ones. I have a relationship channel with my husband because we've literally were divorced or married for years, dealt with so much, divorced, tried to date again, separated, dealt with the situation with my dad passing, and wound up getting married again. So I'm going to talk about all those things. And I know there's people out there that can relate to it, and I'm here to help you. So um, I know this video is long. I know my intro is long, but I promise you, if you guys stick with me, you guys, my goal is for you guys to come out better on the end than in the beginning. I'm hoping that like I'll watch learner videos. I went to school for psychology, so that's a lot of my background is understanding people and communication. So that's a lot of where this is coming from. So I'm not just the real life experience that I went through, but it's also just the education part of it. So I want you guys to watch these videos that I'm going to be putting out in a sense of not looking for me, but looking for what you can get out of it for yourself on an education level. Um, Knowing that everyone that's in your life may not and should not be there. They may mean you more harm than good, and being aware of it. And also, um, if there's people in your life that are going through situations and it's affecting you, how to find a happy medium with dealing with that situation, even if it means losing friendships or relationships or breaking ties with your kids. If it's affecting you that bad, you have to let it go. I know you all have seen the meme where if holding on hurts more than letting go, then let go. Because if you look at your hand, it's all bloody and bruised because you're trying to hold on so tight to a situation that is literally ripping you to shreds. Let it go. Let it go. You can love people from a distance, and if they respect you and understand it, then there may be a time when they get in a better place that you guys can continue to have a relationship. But not everyone is going to see it as you see it. Not everyone is going to see it as I'm doing you wrong. I'm a negative in your life, and I get it. I'm trying to fix myself so that we can come back and be a positive. People may not see it that way. They will see it as, oh, you dismiss me. You don't want anything to do with me now. I hate you. and now I'm going to block you on everything, and I don't want anything to do with you. And you have to accept that. I accept that. I had it happen to me, and I'm okay with that because I love that person enough to let them go. I still have love for them. I still care about them. I still check on them from time to time, but letting go was better for the both of us. Um, Probably more for that person than me, because there was a lot of situations that were going on that I couldn't even, I felt like I couldn't be myself because the things that I was had going on was almost, it was just, it was too much. And you shouldn't be in a relationship of any kind with anybody, child, siblings, whoever, and it be more of a hindrance to be in a relationship with that person. So you have to let them go. You have to allow people to be themselves, their selves. Let them show you who they are, and you decide if you want to deal with them or not. So that's where my videos are going to be. That's where my focus is going to be. I know this video was extremely long, but I needed to get this video out. I needed to let you guys know what's been going on, why I've been sporadic over the years. And I'm hoping that when you guys see this, you'll allow me to help you get into a better place. You'll forgive me for being absent and allow me to help you guys to get through what you're going through, because no one's perfect. Nobody, no one is living the perfect life. Everyone has things they have to work out. They may not tell you, they may put on a front, and they may make it look like it's peaches and cream, but in reality, people are dealing with things that they just don't want you to know, and they're hiding it. But I'm not trying to hide it. There's going to be people that are watching this, and they're going to have an issue with what I'm saying. There's going to be family members that are going to see it, and they're going to try and argue with what I'm saying. There's going to be friends that are going to see it, and they're going to disagree with what I'm saying. And I don't care, because I have to speak my truth. It's my truth. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to speak my truth. Now, if someone else sees it from a different perspective and a different truth, then so be it, because I've learned through my spiritual journey that my truth and the person sitting next to me's truth, when we're looking at something, we're going to see it from two different perspectives. So as long as I speak 100% truth, regardless of what that person says, I know in my heart of hearts, I know deep down in my soul that what I'm saying is the absolute truth. And I'm going to stand on it. So I'm going to be trying, my attempt with you guys helping me is to put out at least 2 videos a week going over these topics. I may do 3 just because I really want to get everything out there, but it is a lot. I do have other channels, and I am going to school right now for my state exam, which is major. You'll get to know me over this time. I have a lot of knowledge in different areas. I have certifications for credit. I can fix your credit. I refuse to fix your credit, because that is a whole nightmare that I just don't want to deal with. I'm not gonna do it. Um, but I do have that. I like achieving things. I like goals. I like accomplishments. I like, because it gives me something to work towards. So helping you guys and putting these videos out gives me something to work towards. But I do right now have a lot on my plate, because I'm right now in this gray area of my life, so to speak. Or I'm coming out of the gray area. And that's part of why I'm doing this video right now. I have goals. Right now, I live in a state that I love. I came here, I loved it. I love the views, I love the area. But I have my eyes set on another destination. Um, and I'm trying to get there. And eventually I will. So um that's where I'm at right now, is working towards that final destination for me, my retirement place. And then from there, I'm going to be traveling. and doing videos, and you guys will get to see um the life where I came from and where I will be. Um, I was going to get rid of this channel because there are people that follow me that I just didn't want that backlash. I didn't want the argument. I didn't want the stress, but me putting out my truth on my channel is just that. Um, Whatever they choose to do with whatever I say, that is their business. That is their for them to deal with and me not to worry about. Again, as long as I put my truth out, then that's all that matters. Those that know me, I'm not going to lie about anything. I'm not going to throw people severely under the bus. I'm not trying to target people. I'm not trying to throw darts at people. I am just trying to relate and grow and learn and just be in a good mental space, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. And I'm trying to help you guys get there too. I will be putting out videos specific to certain topics outside of the ones that I spoke on a different channel. And once I get those videos uploaded, um, I will let you guys know when and where you can find those videos. As for now, it is getting really late, and I told myself that I was gonna stick to a certain length of video and have a set schedule so that I didn't get myself too far behind. So I thank you guys for listening and watching this full video, um, rocking with me all these years. I literally only have at this moment, I think 18 or 19 subscribers. So I thank you guys for sticking with me over all these years. And I look forward to growing with you all. I look forward to my new subscribers, and let's hit the road running together and be each other's support. I know that when it comes to narcissism, I've seen it. I've dealt with it on a friendship level. I've dealt with it on a acquaintance level. I've dealt with it on a parental level. So I've dealt with it around me on different levels, and I see how it affected me. And then going on to TikTok, particularly, and typing it in and trying to find videos about it and what other people are going through, and making sure that that was what I was dealing with. Seeing those videos of what other people were going through and just being aware of what to look for, the characteristics of a narcissist. I have my first video that I'm putting out under probably under the relationship category is it, because friendship, relationship, parentalship, all of that falls under relationship because you have to deal with that narcissist directly. I mean, that's how they get you. They wheel you in. So I will be putting out a really good video that I seen on TikTok that was sent to me um from my husband, where a girl is talking about being a narcissist and is so truthful and deep and raw and everything a narcissist is that it just thinking about it scares me. But I'm on the outside looking in now, so it's different. But again, I'm gonna keep talking because I'm talking about Takina, and I don't want to do that because it's getting late. And I'm happy that I'm back, and I'm going to try my very best to put these videos out because I'm holding myself accountable. And if I stick with the schedule and be consistent, hopefully I can get it out. We shall see. Um, for now, I'll catch you in the next one. I'm ending it here. I am Takina, and I just talked about it.